Chicago cop get horrible news after his entire department sees what he's posing with in picture. The national anthem protests reached a fever pitch this past weekend when hundreds of NFL players knelt when the Star-Spangled Banner began to play. This action ignited a social media firestorm with both sides of the argument battling it out online over why these players are being allowed to disrespect our veterans. Some people claim that this protest is about fighting racial inequality, others argue that it is about police brutality, and then there is the logical option that is just about disrespecting our country and flag. In response, many conservatives have started staging their protests by boycotting the entire NFL season and canceling their NFL subscription channels. One Chicago police officer wanted to make his feelings clear on where he stood on this anti-American protest. And, just as you would expect, this officer has been reprimanded for sharing his political views, all while NFL players are treated like they are the second coming of Martin Luther King Jr. A white Chicago police officer is in trouble today after he posted a picture of himself on Facebook holding the American flag. In the image you can see the officer holding the flag with a sign in front of him that says, "I stand for the anthem, I love the American flag and I support my president and the Second Amendment." Of course, there is nothing wrong with this image, but according to Chicago police spokesman Anthony Guglielmi, it violates policy. Guglielmi states that while officers are on duty, they must refrain from making political statements, which is why the officer was reprimanded. So, an officer that says he stands for the national anthem, loves the American flag, supports the president, and the right to carry is a political statement? These messages are not political but have been our tenets for our country since we were founded. Now, let's couple the story with what a political statement actually looks like, shall we? During the same time frame that this officer shared his love of country, two black officers were busy making a real statement. A black activist by the name of Aletta Clark entered a Chicago police station and asked the cops to kneel and put up a black power fist to protest the brutality of their profession. Then these officers dared to take a picture of them doing this and post it on social media. And, of course, the image has quickly gone viral. Here is more from WSMV. Two Chicago police officers will be reprimanded after they were photographed kneeling with a civil rights activist in support of nationwide protests. Activist Aletta Clark posted the photo to her Instagram account Monday showing her kneeling between the two cops, while all three held their fists in the air. She captioned the photo, "That moment when you walk into the police station and ask the men of color are they against police brutality and racism and they say yes." Clark also said the officers took a knee to back San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick. The officers are now facing a reprimand for violating department policy against political activity while on duty, the Chicago Tribune reports. Mayor Rahm Emanuel said he understands why the department is disciplining the officers, but can also see progress in his community. You have a community activist who felt comfortable enough to ask police officers, so the first symbol is we're making progress on our community relations, the mayor said. More than 200 NFL players protested during the national anthem on Sunday, opting to kneel or sit. Kaepernick started the movement last year when he decided to take a knee during the anthem to protest police brutality. For any logical person, it is clear which one is a politically motivated action and one that isn't, and I will give you a hint: it isn't the image with the flag. The officers kneeling down on one knee with a fist raised is all about a political movement. Hello? Has anyone heard of Black Lives Matter? You know, the group that calls for white genocide and the murder of police officers? Seriously, these police officers are actually protesting themselves. On the hand, the white officer is expressing what we all have before liberal brainwashing took over our beautiful country. At least they are being consistent with their reprimands, but let's be honest, the gentleman with the flag should be applauded and the other officers suspended. But that would make sense, and we live in a world that is upside down.